Hello, everyone. Let's see if this is working. The interface with the Facebook Live has changed a little bit since the last time I did a Facebook Live, so give me a second to just double check. I'm not even sure how to see. If you're on, guys, and you're watching me live, just comment something so that I can see that people are watching and it's working and the comments are coming in. So with all the issues with the Zoom. All right, cool. It seems that I am on. Okay, cool. Thank you for commenting, Kaz. Okay, 1 second. Okay, perfect. So everything is working. Crazy stuff going on with the Zoom, but that's how we roll, working around and everything is divinely guided. I'm just gonna give it a second, hoping that people come back and it's not just two people here, because if it's just two people, we Anya, let me know what do you think. Maybe we should like send out an email or something for people to come back, that we're streaming live in Facebook group, or do you want me to do it regardless, even if there's no one watching, like minimal 1%, because we can do it maybe a bit later. But yeah, regardless, Anya, if you're here still, let me know. Three now, yeah. Kaz, Anya, and somebody else. Because I wanted to do a practice, and also it will be great to have live engagement with some of the questions that I do have. In the beginning, I was thinking that we're gonna be all on Zoom, and then we'll be able to see everyone's beautiful faces face to face. So it's a little bit changing things, but that's still fine. Second. Yeah, 1 second, guys. Let me just check in with Anya if we should do it now or sometime later. As yeah, we are only 3 people out of over 200 people that registered, so that will be, a little bit of waste. Okay, Kaz is saying that Zoom will work. Let me try also to start my Zoom just to see. So for me, Zoom still doesn't work. Alright, cool. Anyway, for me, Zoom doesn't work. Then we're gonna be rolling with it just as it is. So, those of you guys who are on, and guys who are on, please give it a like and or hearts so that it can bump up so that other people see that we're streaming. But we are gonna be talking about quantum consciousness. So, clearing all the noise, all the external stuff, coming back to this moment of now, and we're going to be expanding into quantum consciousness. So, those of you who are new to me, my name is Kristina Day. I'm a neo shamanic and light language healer. So, my main focus with the work that I do is to help people to do the shadow work, to clear the unconscious conditioning, trauma, and suppressed emotions that are still in the bioenergy field of our energy. in order for us to then realign and come back to our own centeredness, to who we are, and eventually to step into our soul mission, so that each and every one of us feels connected with our soul and our soul mission, so that we then all can co-create the beautiful new earth. All right, so those of you who are on, I would love to ask you a couple of questions before we jump into the quantum consciousness. Let's break quantum consciousness. What is quantum? Let me know, guys, in the comments, what does it feel for you? Then there's no right or wrong answer. When you hear the word quantum, what does it mean for you? Let me know in the comments. All right, cool. Cool. So yeah, the next session is going to be happening on Zoom. Alright, guys, so let me know in the comments what does come, or what are your association when you hear quantum. And also, if you have pen and paper, that will be really handy for you to grab it now, because we will be doing some exercises before the practice. So quantum physical small particles that exist when you look at them, but not otherwise, hence magic. I love that. You know what I love to say? That magic is normal. Life is magical. And our new normal, which is not magical, right? It's not normal. So I love that you start talking about the particles. Then I would love to hear, what is consciousness for you guys? What the first thing that comes to your mind? What is consciousness? And again, there's no right or wrong answer. I'm also trying to catch up on my notes and come back to myself after this tech hiccup. So give me a second to pull up my notes. All right. So also what I want to say, as we are moving into today's masterclass, is that today we're gonna do a practice towards from the middle till the end of the masterclass for you to connect to the quantum field and manifest and work with it in a more grounded and empowered way. Because often what I find is there's a lot of teachings and modalities, but a lot of them, at least for myself and my clients, so what I find is it feels very far away, that it's something magical, it's something supernatural and impossible, right? So I want to break down a little bit, before we go into the practice, the quantum mechanics behind the quantum field and how to work with it, and the energetics. Because I don't know how are you guys, but for me, I'm a very logical person. If I cannot get my mind behind something, how it works, I cannot get my energy behind it. And because I cannot get my energy, it will of course affect how and what I manifest, right? So quantum is always here, with or without you. So it's very important to understand and to learn how to manipulate and work with those energies. That I don't have any consciousness if I don't look at the mirror. Otherwise, guess self-awareness. Yeah, exactly. Self-awareness or consciousness. For me, consciousness is awareness, but also consciousness is, this pendulum is consciousness, but it's basically the stuff out of which everything is made. So if we put together the quantum and consciousness, right, the particles and awareness, It's simply your awareness. Quantum consciousness is simply your awareness that goes beyond the physicality, that goes beyond the mind, that goes beyond the emotions and those kind of things, right? So, most of people try to shape their life based on what they see on the radar in front of their nose, right? Or what they're maybe having emotions about. And it's so important that if you want to design the life that is, goes beyond the normal, that you actually tune in into the quantum field and the infinite possibilities. Because if we continue aligning ourselves and being on the level of consciousness, which is just the creator, right? The creator, I will hustle and I will make stuff happen. Of course, that gets you places, but that only can get you so far. When we can operate from quantum consciousness, it is it's not when you work with affirmations. With the quantum consciousness, you just choose what you want to experience. You attune yourself to that reality, and you then bring it down into the physicality by embodying it, right? So let me know, guys, and put some hearts if this resonates, if this makes sense. So moving forward, what I'm gonna do, also one really important thing to understand about quantum, and I briefly touched on it about it, is that quantum exists beyond time. Quantum exists with or without you, right? Time is a man-made concept, right? In fact, we have to understand that you are the quantum field yourself. Because what quantum field is, the quote that I wrote for this event, the quantum field where everything and nothing exists, but what will you choose? Because all the frequencies exist in the quantum field, and it's up to you which frequency bandwidth you will ride as your experience of reality that you desire to experience. And that being said, that all the frequencies exist in the quantum field, each, there's like this energetical field that we all see, and there's all of these particles we cannot see, but all of these particles, right? And some particles manifest itself as a tree. Some particles manifest as yourself in the 3D dimension as a food. And some particles manifest themselves as a human vessel, right? So I want you to remind you that you are the quantum field itself. You are an expression of the quantum field. All right, so that resonates. Cool. So the practice that we're going to do today is going to be quite simple but very powerful. Why? Because it's going to be very grounding. So, with a lot of spiritual practices are up there and we are receiving all the ideas, but then a lot of the people are not able to actually bring it down and make it happen in the physical reality, because we don't feel embodied in our body, and we do not embody those frequencies which we actually want to experience. So some of the basics of connecting and working with the quantum field is understanding the fabrics of this reality, of this time and space matrix that we're living in. And not even the time-space matrix, but the whole universe, right? And one of the basic fabrics is actually sound. Sound then transitions into vibration, into color, and then geometry. Geometry then, takes different shapes and forms, and, some of them, as I said, take a shape of a human. Everything in this universe vibrates at a certain frequency. And everything is made out of the same stuff, which is quantum particles, right? And quantum particles is not something that we can observe with our physical eye. nor I don't think that scientists have the tools and technology to observe quantum particles. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. The fact that you cannot see it doesn't mean it's not there, right? So quantum particles are smaller than 8 atoms, than nuclear, than electrons that are around the 8 atom, atom, right? So when we understand that quantum particles is absolutely everywhere, and in fact, if you tune in into empty space and you go into atom and close and deeper and deeper and deeper, at some point it will seem that there's nothing, right? Because it's all, at the end of the day, it is vibration, it is frequency, it is sound, right? So this is why you might hear often people say that everything is made out of thin air or out of empty space. That's what it is. It's made out of quantum particles, right? So again, my body is made out of the same stuff that my phone is made, or your hat, right? But it's just those particles are a different vibrating at the different frequencies, at different speed, right? So I hope that makes sense. So for example, your thought is a frequency, your emotions is a frequency, your physical body is a frequency. So creating with the quantum field is simply learning how to attune yourself to those quantum particles that vibrate at specific frequency, at the frequency of the reality that you want to experience and bring into your physical experience. That's all it is. It's just choosing what is the reality I want to tune and experience, tuning into that frequency, and then holding that frequency with high intensity and for long enough duration for it to start shifting your level of perception, your level of consciousness, and also starts to pull in physical experiences into your reality, which are a match to the frequency that you hold, which you chose, right? So let me know, guys, if this makes sense. There will be Q&A at the end. And again, quantum consciousness is simply becoming aware of all the possibilities. It's not wishy-washy, it's not hoping. No, we don't have time to waste to hope for something or to pray for something or, oh God, please, that's very disempowered state of being. Of course, we can ask and request help for our guardians and spirit team and higher self and the universe and God to help us and to support us. But we always have to remember we are in power by choosing the frequency we want to experience and what we don't want to tolerate anymore, right? So again, quantum consciousness not just focused on your mind level or emotions, but completely letting all of that human interface go and going beyond that, going beyond time, because again, as I said, time is linear and time is man-made limited concept. It doesn't really exist, right? In the quantum field everything exists. So for example, to give you an example, think about Earth, planet Earth. It's a living organism, right? And zoom out in your imagination and observe Earth. How it looks now, how it looked 2,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, and beyond, and beyond. Earth is still there where it was, spinning in the universe, but it doesn't have the concept of time. The Earth just is, right? So it's the same with you. Your energy, because Earth is also energy, your energy is just is. And it existed way beyond this singular incarnation, and it will exist way beyond this incarnation, and all of this information is stored in quantum field. So from the quantum field, you can download those information and codes from your past incarnations to help you embody certain qualities to help you in this incarnation. So with that being said, when we understand that we are made out of quantum particles and there's no concept of time and there's no limitations and it's all matter of your choice, I want you to choose. What is the reality you want to experience? And you know, a small prerequisite, small, of creating with the quantum field is not to hold doubt, insecurities, fears, or limiting beliefs. Because if you will tune in into the frequency of reality that you want to experience, but you hold a whole bunch of stories why it's not possible, well, guess what? That's what you're going to manifest. You're going to manifest that frequency of doubt that it's not working. Right? So this is why it's so important to do the healing work, to do the shadow work. And if you're going to be part and join us in the Xpansion Alchemy that Anya have talked about already, next week I will be teaching more about the foundations of the healing and how to apply it to yourself. So you know, if this resonates, you definitely can tune in for that next week. But bringing it back, you always just choose the frequency and the reality you want to experience. And this is where our practice will begin. So before we go in a quick meditation, I want to for you to grab pen and paper. I'm gonna give you a second if you haven't grabbed it yet. Alright guys, so I'm gonna assume if you are watching on a replay, just pause this video, but let's get into the practice and really tune in into yourself right now. Sit with yourself, and the first question I want you to think about is, what do I want? What is the reality I want to experience? And you know, most probably there is an area in your life that you want to improve, that you want to experience differently, whether it is health, relationships, money, career, you know, your family, romantic relationships, and so on and so forth. Just pick one for now, or it can be, you know, a whole reality. So just write. You don't have to write a lot. This is just some, you know, bullet points for yourself. So what do you want to experience? Now just give it a little bit more description, how it looks visually. Again, it doesn't have to be detailed. We're gonna go into meditation and more information can come through there. It doesn't have to be perfect. What are the first things that visually come to you? You know, maybe it's you're seeing other people around you. Maybe you're in the beach, or maybe you're just sitting in a sofa and just enjoying that you don't have to go anywhere and that you have luxury of time and that you are living with yourself at peace, right? So just give it a little bit of description. Now, the next thing I want you to think about is feelings. How do you feel experiencing their reality? What are your thoughts that you are experiencing? Do you think, oh, it's such a beautiful day, just such a nice thing that I don't have to be anywhere? Or maybe you are just thinking how grateful you are for this life that you now live, how grateful you are for your partner, for your healthy body, and so on and so forth. Again, just a couple of bullet points. And now I'm gonna give you a second if you want to add anything else to that description of what the feelings, the thoughts, how it looks. And also to answer to yourself, why do you want it? Because often there's some things that we think we want, but actually it comes from ego desire, from the unconscious need to prove yourself or feeling insecure about yourself, and we want something just to prove something to somebody else. Deep down inside we don't care about it. So I want you to tune in and check in with yourself. Why do you want what you want? And as you're writing down, I want you to know that this is not, you know, something set in stone. These are just the questions to help you clarify the frequency of your reality. Remember, when I say frequency, it doesn't just mean emotion. It doesn't mean just sound. Frequency is thoughts, emotions, physicality, energy, all of it. Like your current version of self and your physical reality, your experience is a certain frequency, like a radio that was fine-tuned, right? So there are other endless versions and frequencies of you which you are not experiencing. Why? Because you are not an energetical match. So for you to start to experience something different, it's just a matter of fine-tuning your frequency. So coming back to your practice, these are just the questions to help you clarify the frequency of the reality you want to experience. Because we do not want the frequency to manifest until it's clear. I'll repeat that again. We do not want something to manifest until we're clear on what we want, right? So it's not, I want XYZ, but I don't know why I want it and I have no specifics or whatever. And then you manifest a lot of chaos, right? So that will be the basics of it. And now we're gonna do 5-10 minute quick meditation, and that will then we'll call it a night for the quantum consciousness masterclass. It's been a little bit hectic with all the tech stuff, but if you guys are ready, just give me a yes or a thumbs up in the comments so I know that you're here and you are ready, so that I can start guiding you into the practice. You just will need to make sure that you are ready, steady, go. Okay, cool. You will just need to be in a comfortable position and disturb for next 5-10 minutes. So just take a last look on that list of the frequency of the reality that you want to experience. You don't have to remember it, don't worry. More information will come to you as you are connecting with the quantum field. So let go of that human worries. And now slowly start closing your eyes and just starting to observe your own breath. And just taking a nice deep breath in through the nose into your belly, expanding the belly, expanding your chest, now expanding your whole body, filling it up with the air, holding at the very top, and exhale. Just coming back to yourself, tuning in, withdrawing your senses from the outside world and going within. In this practice, into which I'm about to guide you, we don't need a guide. We just need to learn how to go within and connect yourself with the quantum field, and from there, every time that you do it, you just choose a new frequency that you want to embody and experience. So now, as you're coming back to yourself, one of the first things that I want you to start becoming aware of is tune into your body, physical body awareness. Any sensations that are present, not the thoughts, not the emotions, physical, how your body feels. Is your heart maybe pumping too fast? Maybe there's something itching, and maybe there's butterflies in the stomach. Just having this bodily awareness. Next, tune into your emotional body. Your emotional body is located slightly out on the outskirts of your physical body. What are the emotions that are present in your field? Is it calmness, stillness, maybe worries? Just allowing and observing what's flowing through your emotional body. And now tuning in into the mental body, which is located just beyond the emotional body. What are the thoughts, the frequencies that are present in your mental body? Maybe there's some judgment. Maybe you're thinking what to eat after this masterclass, what you need to iron, or what time you need to wake up tomorrow. All of this is welcome and allowed. But again, you're choosing to go beyond that. Now tuning into your astral body, the next layer. And the astral body is where you enter the astral world. And this is the big spiritual arena, so to say. Just expanding your awareness beyond your self, beyond the emotional self, mental self, physical self. What are maybe the energies you're picking up around? And now, going even beyond that, tuning into the rest of your light body. There are many layers to a light body, but you don't necessarily need to know them. Just tuning into your own aura that's around you. Just feeling how you're expanding and expanding and expanding, and all of this is just frequencies around you. And you, by your own choice, you can tune in at any of them, or you can drop and let go of all of them. And now again, I want you to bring your awareness to your physical body. Tune into your body, your skin, your muscles, your bones, your blood, organs, cells, And finally, the quantum particles. The quantum particles from which your body is made. The quantum particles that are vibrating at a certain frequency and speed to produce your physical formation, then to produce your emotions, your thoughts. And it's actually not just within your physical body, it's all around you. And now as you're tuning in with your imagination or your clear psychic abilities, can you tune in and feel or know or see or hear? Either way is just perfect. But can you observe these frequencies around you? These quantum particles around you? Just asking yourself, can these vibrations, can these quantum particles rearrange themselves and vibrate at the different frequency to create a different emotion? Yes, it can. Can those particles rearrange themselves to create a different thought? Yes, it can. Can those particles vibrate at a different frequency to show you the different version of you? 100%. And all you have to do is with your consciousness to tune in into the frequency of the reality of your choice. So I want you now with your consciousness to tune in into the frequency of the reality that you described a few minutes before on the paper. How you looked, what was the reality you experienced. And the key here is not to observe this reality, but to embody the avatar. To embody the avatar of yourself in that reality. Pull yourself into the shoes of that version of self. Look through her or his eyes. Feel physical sensations of that version. Look at your hands. Look at your body. Feel yourself residing in that body, in that version. We're not just wishing or hoping for it. We are this version already. You are riding the frequency of that reality. And because you are a multidimensional being, you're able to observe and embody that reality, but yet you're able to be here with me and hear my voice. And I want you to take a mental snippet, memory. What does this version has in their life that I really would love to experience, and what from that I can already act on to start becoming now, to start embodying more of that frequency. Again, frequency, not just the feeling, but the frequency of the whole reality. Can you embody more of the frequency, how they dress, how they hold themselves, how they treat other people, how they treat themselves? Take a mental snippet of that image, energetically, visually, just knowingness, whatever higher sense perception is more developed for you. And just give yourself the permission to finally start becoming that version now. Shift into being this version. Not when you heal, not when you have done enough work or hard work or when you have money. No. In your mind, repeat after me. I allow myself to experience this reality now. Now take a nice deep breath in through the nose into your whole body. And bring all of that frequency of that reality into physicality of your current self. And as you exhale, ground that frequency into your body and into the earth, and exhale. Pulling yourself in, pulling that frequency of that reality into this current body. Boom. It is here now. You embody it by your choice. Now while it still is fresh in your conscious mind, and now start slowly coming back. If you need, take a couple of more deep breaths. But start slowly moving your fingers, your toes, your nose. Slowly opening your eyes. And what I would highly suggest you do is write down a couple of notes. Add to that list what new realizations or new sensations that you felt as you were embodying the avatar, your ideal avatar. And that will allow you, not just frequencies, what you observe, but specifically when you were embodied in the avatar, because that gives you like a perception, wow, it is so real, it is so here, and what are the first things that I can start doing here now. So for example, right, if you want to start your business or whatever, right, and you want to get, I don't know, more in the podcast, and you saw yourself, talking with a laptop, being on interviews, what that version of you has. Probably they have a mic, probably they have a light. That's some of the things that when I was a couple of years ago tuning myself to the version of me that is here now, I saw myself, well, this version of Kristina dresses more feminine, is more assertive, is more in connection with her sensuality, and I started doing those things that very same day. But I picked up and pulled those frequencies from that version, the avatar of myself, that right now I embody. But it was my choice, and instantly I hopped onto a different timeline, right? So, with that being said, we are wrapping up the Quantum Consciousness Masterclass, and if you guys have any questions, I'll see you in the Q&A, and I would absolutely love to hear some of your comments and observations and experiences, how this practice and masterclass went for you. So definitely feel free to either comment here, or as Anya have been sharing, also do a testimonial in a group for the Quantum Maxima, and you also qualify for the 3-month, or there's also one spot for a full year-long membership giveaway for the Xpansion Alchemy. All right, my love, so thank you so much for having me. Thank you for being on the live stream in Facebook versus Zoom, and bearing with all the tech stuff. Thank you, Anya, for setting this all up, and yeah, I'll see you in the Q&A. Bye.